Okay, what's up YouTube? This is the Aprilaire, I should say, 700A. This is the automatic version. You should be able to follow this guide for the manual version as well. There's not too much that's different. I'm going to do this from easy to difficult. First, you have to mount this thing up there. I put it on the hot side. I actually wanted it to be above the condenser, so I mounted it pretty high here. I did not use the template because people said that it was a little bit too tall height-wise, so I just measured and cut out the hole. I did that with a jigsaw with a metal bit. I did not use 10 snaps, although you could. So once that was mounted in there, I started working on some other fun stuff. Here you see a PVC for the overflow of the water. This is 1/2 inch inside diameter plastic flexible tube. You know, beer bong tube stuff. So this just runs directly to my furnace. I zip tied it. I ran it underneath of my furnace, and then I have it hooked up to this drain here. Some guys will actually hook it up to this pipe here. I didn't find that to be too necessary. Next up, we had our hot water, and this is our solenoid for hot water. You want to hook up this side first, because once you tap, it'll just be pouring water all over the floor if you don't. So here's my hot water, and it goes directly across. It goes over top of the furnace next to my hot water tank. You can figure out which one of your wires is hot, or I'm sorry, your pipes is hot by touching it, and then you're going to use the provided saddle. You're going to tap all the way into that and then back it off a little bit, and there's 10 feet of that I bought at Lowe's for $5. So I know I'm going fast. I have to make this 10 minutes with my DSLR. This is also manual focus, so I'm sorry about that, but I can't get in up close and automatic focus. Next, let's talk about the thermometer wire that I ran outside. You can see it there. It is not stapled to the joist yet. I am not done. I just finished this job, but it runs across here, and it goes outside next to my main right there. I was worried about it messing with the resistance inside of it, but whatever. I started from outside. I ran the wire in. I bought 15 feet of this 18-2 for $13 at Lowe's as well. You probably need 50 feet if you're going to go outside. I electric taped it to all the pre-existing wires to make it look like a professional job. I am not a professional. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I did my best. So here's where I ran my wires. I tapped them into my furnace, and they run across here over to the brain, or they go down to the bottom. So next, we're going to talk about that. That wire that we just showed, the thermometer wire, gets plugged directly into the center of this board. Follow your wiring diagram for that. I'm running 34% because I just installed this thing. So basically what I did when I installed this is I used a 3/4 inch step-down bit I bought at Harbor Freight. I drilled a hole directly into the cold side so it can get a reading off the back side. You'll see that in the manual. This has to be mounted to an air duct so it can get your humidity reading. This will read once every hour for 3 minutes to figure out what your humidity is, and then it'll turn on without actually turning on the furnace if you allow it to with this switch down here at the bottom. So here I have an 18.5 which I bought. I bought a 50-foot spool for $20 at Lowe's as well. I'll show you how I hooked it up. My 18.5 runs directly across the furnace next to the pre-existing wires into my terminal. Now let me take this off. You probably hear me a little bit better. So my 18.5, back to it, runs directly down to my terminal here. Okay, so all the wires that you see off to the left side of the terminal, let me sit here a little properly. Okay, so all the wires that you see off to the left of the terminal are my thermostat that runs upstairs that controls my heat. All the wires off to the right are for my humidistat. This is pretty straightforward. You're going to pay attention to the wiring diagram. But just to show it, the blue wire up top gets connected to both sides. The white wire gets connected to both sides. The red wire gets connected to both sides. Where it gets hairy is the green and the yellow. The green you're going to disconnect from the thermostat upstairs from the furnace. So you're going to let that thing dangle, and that green wire is now going to get hooked directly into your humidistat. You can see it there. So like I said, let me back it up just a hair. Like I said, these are my wires from my humidistat up there. The green is now plugged into the green, which is running to my thermostat upstairs. I had one wire left in my 18.5 I bought, which is yellow. I now hooked it to the green. I will explain that up here. The green is plugged into green, which is plugged into the green on my thermostat upstairs. The yellow, which is plugged into green on the furnace, is now plugged into my GF. I cannot get this thing to focus. The last one you see there is GF. That is where my yellow is plugged into the green on the terminal on my furnace. Follow the wiring diagram. That's not really why I made this video. The video pretty much consists of this part, the solenoid. The only part that the wiring diagram will not show you how to wire is the solenoid. On the bottom, you're going to have a black and a white. This is 115 in to 24 volts out. Both sides are 24 volts. You can hook up the wires either way and it'll still work. So they're not labeled up there. Down here, the black. The black goes to the EAC terminal right there. The black goes to the EAC terminal on your furnace. I have two of them available, EAC 1 and 2. If you hook this up to the HUM on the furnace, it will only run when the furnace is on. But since I have it hooked up to EAC, it will fire when the brain up there tells it to. So basically what that means is it is harder to humidify your house than it is to heat your house. So it will run a reading once every hour for 3 minutes to test your humidity. In that time, it'll say, hey, we need more, so it'll actually just turn on the blower and the humidifier without the furnace. The way that you wire it up to do that is with EAC. If you do not like that feature and you are tired of having too much humidity or the blower running in your house, there is a switch on the bottom of the brain, like I said. Right there, you can switch it off, so now it'll only work when the furnace comes on. So, now that we have the black wire determined going to the EAC, we need to do something with the white wire. The white wire that comes out of the bottom of this is a neutral or ground. My board does not have a neutral or ground. Other YouTubers had neutrals or grounds on their boards. If you do, just use that white wire to that neutral or ground. Mine, I actually had to physically find a neutral in this pile of wires. It's going to be white, and I'm not so sure that you actually need to do what I did, but what I did is I stripped it back, I wrapped the wire around it, and then I electric taped it. Some guys may say that you can probably just use a self-tapping screw and ground it out to the back of this, but I actually found a neutral in a pile of wires here. You can use a voltmeter if you don't trust the white wire is the proper one. Like I said, I'm not a professional, so whatever. So, here we're going to talk about the two wires that come out of the bottom of this. These are, you can wire them either way, they both do the same thing. So one of them, we'll follow this, is a blue wire. You can see it here, you probably already know where this is going. The blue wire is going to plug into one of these, doesn't matter which one. The other wire, I didn't have any more blue wire, this is actually an 18-2. I only used one wire inside of the 18-2, I used a red, so we're going to follow that. We're going to go across. And you can back this video up if I went too fast for you. I'm sorry, like I said, I only had 10 minutes. So the other wire goes directly to this thing. And then so what that leaves us is one more terminal left. And you're going to take your other wire. You can use 18-2 on this. It's only 24 volts. And you take that last terminal. And you're going to plug that one also directly into this guy. So from this guy, you'll figure out where to plug it in with the wiring diagram. This guy right here is going to have one wire running to the transformer, the other wire running directly to that guy, and then the other wire here from that guy running directly down to the transformer. I hope I explained that clear enough. This is a really fast video. I like this thing so far. It seems to be working. I don't think that I have anything else to talk about. You don't have to use the thermometer on it. I am right now. Obviously, well, not obviously, the thermometer outside is going to actually let this thing work less so you don't get condensation built up on your house. So if you want maximum humidity, you probably want to switch this over to manual on this switch here instead of using a thermometer. So you can get a crazy amount of condensation, which can cause mold and other fun stuff, but whatever, you want it humid. That is it. Oh, this plug right here. This plug, I did not have a plug on the side of my furnace, so I have hillbilly wired it up to an extension cord for now. I am actually going to cut that plug off and hardwire it in later, but for now it's just plugged into an extension cord. I had heard online that if you actually run this black wire into the furnace and hook it up to 115, It's against code, so I don't know if that's true. Do whatever you want, but I had heard you cannot wire that into the furnace. That's it, guys. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, I probably won't answer them. I'm really sorry about that, but thank you. Bye-bye now.